when a subject is new and young, there's lots of stuff you don't know. So you make discoveries very quickly because as soon as you kind of start to look, you find things you've not seen before. There's a good example of this with like Galileo and the telescope. Telescopes were sort of originally used to like for military purposes, looking at ships coming over the horizon. But very quickly, the instruments invented, people point it at the heavens, and they start discovering the phases of Venus and moons around Jupiter, and that leads to the shift in our understanding of our place in the universe and all the rest of it. But that is because no one had that instrument before. And we have had colliders and telescopes and all these other things for a century now, almost in some cases. So a lot of the low-hanging fruit has been plucked, and the stuff that hasn't been found is by definition much more difficult to find because that's why we haven't found it already. So I think like that sort of explains why progress maybe feels like it slows down or it gets more and more difficult. And to get to the sort of next discovery, you have to make this massive push to some bigger machine, much more expensive, bigger telescopes, because you are looking for these much more difficult to find signals. That's just an unavoidable consequence of having a very mature field, as you say. That doesn't mean it's a dead end, though. It just means that we have to keep pushing, and we may have to work very, very hard to get the next big discovery. But I have very little doubt that there are other things out there to learn, that we haven't come to the end.